Oh!
Yeah. This one burns.
Oh!
This is by far the worst.
Oh!
Hi, I'm Brennan. I am a senior here at Haas. I'm president of HBSA this year. We're doing a little interview type season here where we take professors from around Haas and we interview them in the Hot One style challenge that you might have seen on YouTube. Today we have the esteemed Professor Ross here with us.
Wait, time for applause now. Yeah, no, not you, I meant the audience. And now you have to pause for that.
Okay,
so they don't
pause.
Yeah.
The esteemed Professor Ross.
Applause.
Do applause. And then normally the way this would work is we would have a bunch of wings on the table and we would have hot sauces of increasing spiciness. But Professor Ross, we're told that we are here today instead with sour candy because...
I'm lame. That's what it comes down to. My son lets me know very clearly. Come on, Dad, everyone's doing this. But I was saying earlier that any spice throws me, and anything really spicy hospitalizes me. So luckily, HBSA, being kind and up for a kindness award for this, has allowed me to swap out sour candy for spicy food.
Amazing.
Much appreciated.
Yes, I'm very excited. I have not had most of these, and in fact,
Nor have I.
I'm a little scared, to be honest. This one, Courtney was hyping this up a little bit. She said that this one is quite sour, and it's also quite large, so I think we're gonna have a fun time trying to answer questions with those.
I'll do my best.
So we have a list of questions here. I think the game plan here is before each question, we take one of these, and then we're supposed to like bear through the answer as we go through eating the candy. And of course, as we go up, it should get harder and harder. And the questions here, of course, also get a little bit more interesting.
Oh.
Yes. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
My son eats these all the time, so.
I remember eating these when I was a kid.
They didn't have it when I was a kid, yeah.
You get these at like the movie theater.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Red.
I'm a big red guy on these
too.
as well.
Oh, this orange. Okay.
There are some red ones. Do you want a red one?
No, I'll go one. Should I start?
Should we go for it? Cheers.
I'm good. I could do that all day.
Very chewy. All right. So Professor Ross, I've taken UGA 107. It's a class that is notorious for not being a technology class. You're not allowed to use your technology in class. Have your classes always been this way? What differences do you notice between your class and those that allow technology?
Well, it hasn't always been this way because I've been teaching at Haas for 35 years, meaning 1990 when I started, there were no phones. So it wasn't a problem at all. It was, people actually in those days read the Daily Cal, believe it or not. So that was an issue, just don't know newspapers maybe. But over time, the addiction to these devices that I'm staring at right now has gotten to the point where I believe there's two choices, be on your phone or pay attention. Impossible to do both. So I really enforce it, as you may have seen.
Yes, absolutely.
In sometimes not the nicest ways, but I think it's effective. It gets the message out.
I have to ask, when you call people out on their phones, I feel like it's a very iconic element of the class. Do you?
They remember it.
Do you revel in that feeling?
Not at all.
Do you enjoy it?
No, I mean, maybe that's what it appears. No, I just really want to send the message that I'm serious, because I won't name my colleague, but I have a colleague who said, I have a no phone policy, but everyone's still on their phone. To which I thought, have you thought about enforcing it?
You have to lay down the law.
Yeah, right. And it's my favorite compliment that I get at the end of the semester is, this is the only class I paid attention in all semester. And I appreciate it because they're, they could be called on. Two, they're not on a device. And all of a sudden, hey, I'm paying attention. I'm actually maybe even learning something.
The super lemon.
Lemon.
It's from Japan.
Oh. Thank you. Well, this is the one you suck on, I think. Oh
no, this one is like powdered. I'm always scared of the ones that have like powder on them. I feel like those are usually quite sour. Yeah. Should we go for it?
Whoa! Wow. Give me the spicy food.
Wow, yeah,
Whoa.
that ramped up quickly. All right, should we get right into it? So I got the like candy in like the side of my cheek. How?
If I spit it out right at the camera, do I win the prize?
So Professor Ross, how has the business landscape changed over the years when it comes to business ethics? Do you think that some industries have improved, have worsened in terms of CSR, and how has that been so between the different companies you've observed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we were doing better for a while with CSR people implementing it, corporations, and starting to take it more seriously. But as the economy gets tougher, competition gets tougher from overseas, all of a sudden, I think it goes by the wayside, the CSR programs more and more. So I don't think that we're at the heyday right now. There's a lot of lip service towards it, but I think we're seeing somewhat of a backlash a little bit right now. So where we go forward, who knows? Obviously, this election today will tell us a whole lot as a country how we feel about these kind of things. Are they important, or are they just a distraction that's hindering the U.S. economy?
And one thing that's been happening recently, I read in the news recently, is you have all these companies, as we're hitting 2024, almost 2025, are going back on all of their 2030 climate goals. And that's been a big topic recently. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, again, the truth is, for big business, it's the bottom line. And for a while, they were doing well enough that they could expand their issues. Right now, with this competitive environment, it feels like that's it. That's really where it begins and ends. And we're seeing enormous layoffs in the tech world right now. It's a tough time, and they will not hesitate to do what's in their own best interests.
Very true, very true. Should we move on to the next one? I'm still like finishing the last one.
I'm liking it now.
Yeah, see, it's much better now. In the beginning, it was hard, but
no.
Once you get past like that powdered layer, it's just sugar, I think. So next up we have
fish food.
I fear it says toxic waste nuclear fusion.
I don't usually have that until Friday.
All right, how do we open this? Is really the first question.
I can't open it. Got to move on.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got some more individually wrapped ones.
Okay. Thank you. Is this also from Japan?
Very American sounding candy. This one's a little tougher.
I was going to say, that'll be the test. Can you even open the package? When I first came to Haas, I was young, and a lot of the faculty was really, really old. And so opening packages was an issue. Now I went to a faculty meeting not too long ago, and I looked around the room. I'm the old guy. It just threw me. I looked around to see where the old guys were. It was me. So
35 years. Well tenured. Here we go.
Not bad.
So
I'm not going to make it a diet of this, but it's not bad.
I agree. I think this one is like, because it doesn't have the powder coating, it's going to stick around a while longer.
It tastes like crap too, but other than that.
Yeah, they weren't kidding it. Oh, wow. It's starting to pick up a little. It does taste like toxic waste. Hundreds of...
And you're aware of that because?
That's what you got me again.
I can't say I personally know what toxic waste tastes like, but...
So hundreds of HBSA 107 students have just submitted their midterms, as I'm sure you know, going through, grading those. We're wondering, what types of papers have you seen that were positive, negative, comedic, any that have really stood out to you over the years in this semester? And was there anything that like radically changed your viewpoint? Did you ever read like an essay that was like so profound that it completely changed your viewpoint on some sort of industry or dilemma?
I think that's an adorable question, because you're assuming I read any of this. I hire the best GSIs at UC Berkeley for one reason, because they handle all of it. So I very rarely see a paper or an exam And if I do, it's only because a student wasn't happy with their grade. And then I grade the exam and I'm like, you're complaining about this C? That was the most generous C I've ever seen. You don't want to come to me because I have old school grading standards. But no, I'm really not up on what my students are writing about.
So
Yeah.
I have to ask, you've seen the regrades, you've probably seen maybe the tail end of what you might consider performance on these essays. What's the worst thing you've seen in your time grading these essays? Or maybe the most egregious regrade request you've come across?
I mean, I have seen papers that look like they were written a half hour before the deadline, and they're complaining about a C, where I'm thinking, this is horrible. In high school, I would have been embarrassed to turn this in. So yeah, I have seen, let's just say the range is rather great, from 4 to extremely good.
Fair enough. This is one thing I got from taking this class. You always have the most fascinating midterm prompts and final prompts. I'm curious, what is your creative process for coming up with those?
Yeah, that's the only creative writing I do these days. I miss that. So I try and come up with something, one, funny. I try to do everything I do with a little humor in it. And then I was a poli-sci major, not a business major, so I like something, we'll call it open-ended, meaning you can just blah, 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 throughout that blue book and have a lot to say, even if you weren't necessarily the student paying the most attention in class. So I'm writing those kind of open-ended exams where I don't ever in 107 give a model answer. I sit down with my GSIs like I did last week to go over what I was thinking when I wrote it. But an A exam in my class could be this, or it could be this. There's no set answer. Whereas in my law class, I write out a word for word answer for my reader.
Right.
Because in the law, you have to get it just right. So very different.
Yes, makes a lot of sense. All right, should we move on to the number 4 here? All right, number 4, we have warheads. Doesn't sound quite as extreme as toxic waste maybe, but I think I actually remember having these when I was
I've heard of
well.
them.
Yeah, I think these are a popular one.
When I was a kid, I ate, like Halloween, I'd come home with an enormous shopping bag full of candy, thank you. And I don't think my daughter so much, but my son definitely inherited my love of candy. And, yeah.
Do you have like a favorite candy?
Now? Trying to think what would be. Oh, anything chocolate for sure.
My mom is the same way.
But I'm trying to think of something that I would find irresistible. I guess more chocolate than anything than compared to these kind of candies. But yeah, it's been a while. This year I pretty much was able to go candy free for Halloween, which normally we have a big basket at our door. And I'm eating it for everyone I hand out, I eat. But this year I just said, not going to do it. So, yay.
Shall we?
Woo! Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely the worst. That's the worst so far. Professor Ross, you teach.
These reactions, I'm going to be like, Jesus.
This one is pretty bad. Professor Ross, you teach HB 107 business ethics. The question we have for you is, what is your most unethical life pro tip? For the example we have here is like creating burner emails to take advantage of free trials over and over again. What's your?
That's unethical?
I think that's on the light. The other example they have here is parking in the handicap spot for a few minutes. I think that one's pretty unethical. Okay. But maybe you have your own that you'd like to share.
It reminds me of a story that, what the hell? I'm old enough now, I can just tell them. It's a rather embarrassing moment. I used to get a lot of my lunch walking through the supermarket on the way to class. Like when I was in law school, there was a supermarket between my apartment building and the law school. So the bins, which were open, I thought they were all sampling. So I would sample, and have lunch and then go on to class. I continued this habit into my adult life, which my wife wasn't real thrilled about. And one day I grab a bunch of yogurt raisins out of a bin, and a student comes up right in the grocery store. "Hi, Professor Ross," and reaches out to shake my hand. So I have to take a handful of yogurt raisins, transfer them into my left hand. Kind of an unethical moment, caught. A little embarrassing. So since then, yeah, no more bin eating. That's what I try and say in class. Don't do anything in life that's going to embarrass you and possibly ruin your career over something so small.
Over yogurt raisins.
Over yogurt raisins, exactly. Like chocolate raisins, now that's different. You give up a career for chocolate raisins, but yogurt raisins, come on. So, and you see that every day if you just read the press, what's happening in the business world, how much fraud there is, and just silliness. What were they possibly thinking for a few dollars? And the classic is Wells Fargo opening millions of fake accounts. Did they think no one was going to notice? I mean, it's just insane. And this goes all the way up the ladder too, because you know this was approved very high up. So step back, remember when you were in 107 and say, hey, should I be doing this? And then probably the answer is going to be no. Just not worth it.
All right, well, you heard him. The next time you're creating burner emails, you should think of Professor Ross. Don't be unethical. All right, we're approaching the last one here. I'm a little scared. Are you ready for this one?
I'm gonna do it.
But this one looks bad. You know it's gonna be bad. It's not even like marked. This is just like it's just like a plastic bag. It looks like it came out of a factory. It says Barnett's Mega Sour Assortment, 250 grams
of
fruits, and the number one ingredient is sugar.
Thank God.
Number two is citric acid, and then maltic acid.
It could be vice versa. We're lucky.
That's very true. We have a few different color options here, it seems.
Okay, let's see.
I'm not sure any of them.
I'll stick with orange.
No. Let's see here. Let's do red. This one is large.
Yes, it is.
Shall we? Cheers.
Okay. Oh!
Yeah. This one burns.
Oh!
This is by far the worst.
Oh,
God.
wow.
That's bad.
That's painful.
Yeah, it actually like burns a little bit. So you founded the Chris Kindness Award in the midst of the. My mouth is like.
Are we supposed to keep this in our mouth? We are we? Okay.
You founded the Chris Kindness Award in the midst.
And none of you are getting it after making me do this. There's nothing kind about this one. That one's just, whoever came up with that just mean.
In the midst of a pandemic, in honor of your children's preschool teacher, Chris Walton.
Who would never make me eat this candy.
I can imagine. How have you seen your community change after introducing the award?
I wouldn't say I've seen the community change, but anyone who's been involved with the award, individuals, including myself, when you're around these winners that I give $1,000 to every month, it's bound to affect you because you're meeting these amazing people, truly amazing, who think differently. One of my winners recently was walking down the street with his wife, and she told me the story how he saw a guy painting his house and he said, "Need any help?" Who asks a stranger, "Can I help you paint your house?" Except these amazing individuals. So it has me thinking now, when I have opportunities, what can I do to be more helpful? And it really is reshaping the way I interact. And I think that's been wonderful for me, as well as, the rest of the team that's worked with me on this. I think we all see the world a little differently through this lens of what can I do, not what can I expect. and it's been great.
That's
I've
great.
really enjoyed this.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's it.
Amazing. Well, we'll end up concluding this interview here. The way it normally works on Hot Ones is Sean Evans will ask the celebrity, I guess that makes you the celebrity, at the end to...
It's a very loose definition of celebrity.
I think
Once I leave 94720, no one knows me, but yeah.
Mike Go's celebrity is a celebrity nonetheless. So normally at the end, they have an opportunity for them to pitch whatever new show or movie of theirs is coming out. Instead, is there something that you would like to share with your students, the faculty who watch this, your final message?
Funny you should say, because...
How about the Chris Kindness Award? How about that? I wasn't even thinking of that, but oh wait, microphone's off though. This is where the editing comes in.
So, please join us at Chris Kindness Award, www.chriskindnessaward.org, and nominate someone. We have yet to have a student at Haas win this award. I know there's kindness happening in this building. Maybe not at this very moment, but at some point. A lot of you are doing incredible things. So go on our website, nominate your friend for this award. They'll get $1,000, and we'll all have kindness at Haas.
Well said. Thank you very much, Professor Ross. It's been a pleasure. We
Thanks.
know you're a busy man, so thank you for coming.
Thanks, I enjoyed it very much.
And interviewing with us.
Thanks, it was fun. Good questions.